Okay. Hello, Hopkins pre-health community. It's me, Missouri Obato, one of the assistant directors in the Pre-Prof office. We are here with Pre-Prof Talks. I'm going to let a couple people jump on. Hey. Okay, I like the turnout. Hey, everyone. Okay, we're going to talk about letters today. So I just wanted to first give a little snippet of why we're doing it this way. We just figured we would give another opportunity for students to hear about hot topics concerning being pre-health, getting ready for application cycles. The springtime is busy, it's going, and so we figured that this was another opportunity just to do that. So please put your questions in the chat. Oh, I see some familiar names and faces. Nice to see y'all. And so I'm going to just start ranting about letters, some of the common questions like the FAQs of getting letters of recommendation, some aspects of the committee letter. So we'll be on here for the next 19-ish minutes or less, 15 to 20 minutes. We're going to keep them. So definitely put your questions on the chat. I'll respond to them. But I'll just first start by saying letters of rec is something that is good to have in the back of your mind. The minute you decide that you want to go into a pre-health field, because a significant part of your application is getting the support of others, and others being people you have worked closely with, who have instructed you in and out of the classroom and all that jazz. So the idea is that when you come in your first year, it's probably the easiest point to know that so that you can start building rapport. Some of my juniors and seniors, especially those affected by COVID, lost track. And it was really hard to really do a lot of relationship building when taking classes online. We understand the struggle, and we want to give you some pointers to help you with, one, understanding the importance of letters and their function, but then also how to navigate the spaces on campus with particularly your faculty. It seems like a lot of students, their challenge kind of rests with getting letters from faculty and instructors more than their PI, because you have time to build closer relationships with some of your supervisors, PIs, mentors, coaches, name it, etc. So I don't see any questions yet. So as you think of any, just toss them in. No question is dumb. This is a free judgment, free zone area to just ask those questions, because if you're thinking it, 3 other people are probably thinking it. So all right. The common question for pre-prof is, how many letters do you need for a committee letter? So for those who don't know what a committee letter is, it is a letter that functions as a composite letter of some sort. For our office, we do a cover letter type of letter that then is accompanied with other letters, individual letters, and together it's a packet. And so that full packet is sent to your, uploaded into your application system. That is for pre-med. And then for dentistry, for those MD, PhD too. So MD, DO, dentistry, MD, PhD, and dental all are get committee letters. Other health professions don't necessarily require the same letter system, and so individual letters generally suffice. So definitely look into the health professions that you are considering, and if it's outside of MD-DO, MD, PhD, and dental. Okay, so keep that in mind. So the committee letter is typically in lieu of the individual letter requirements. So for our committee letter, we highly encourage that students have 2 science letters. Science being biology, chemistry, physics, mathematics, engineering, your BCPM, usually related. Engineering is a little different because it's not calculated in the BCPM, but I digress. But engineering counts for science letter. So 2 letters, one letter, another academic letter taught from social science or humanities. So that's 3. Then the 4th, 5th, and 6th letter can be from other people who have played instrumental roles in your academic and extracurricular spaces, clinical, non-clinical, working, employment, all the things. So common places where people get additional letters: PIs, primary investigators, people you're doing research with. They can hold different degrees: PhD, MD, PhD, graduate students as well if you're working with a graduate assistant. There are also coaches if you're an athlete. Sometimes you have built really strong relationships with your coaches, mentors, or physicians you have shadowed, or other practitioners you have worked with or shadowed, supervisors in employment settings that have known you and can speak to transferable skills that you have. Remember, you have a whole list of competencies that the health profession schools are looking for. And so hopefully you can build like a well-rounded letter packet that has people who can talk about your academic abilities in the classroom, your leadership, also your critical thinking, and whatever else is important to you to showcase to medical schools. So, I thought I saw. Okay, I don't see any other. All right, I see no questions. Hey, you guys are talking. That's nice. Cool. All right. So yeah, letters. Those are the types of letters you can consider. So, how should you ask for letters of rec? Politely, definitely politely. A lot of faculty have given the feedback that they prefer that students ask through email because office hours or what you would consider shared spaces may not be the best time to ask for an individual support. So I would say constructing an email that's short, sweet, concise, respectful, and leaves them room to decline. So formulating some kind of email that communicates your desire to be supported in an application cycle, and then even tossing in a little bit of like things that you've gained from the experience. Why did you choose them? It's often nice for professors to know that you have thought about why they would be a good recommender for you. So sprinkling in some of those gained skills or mindsets, or just different points of growth, honestly, in your experience working with them or them teaching you, is important to just communicate. That way they can also say, yes, I agree, I can support you in that way. If you are unsure of what you should also communicate, you can talk to an advisor through advising sessions with us. Or you can also look at a resource on the AAMC, which is a guide for letter writers. And I highly encourage students to usually attach that and say, this is generally what medical schools are looking for letters to convey on our behalf. Please utilize it. Of course, once they say yes, please feel free to utilize it as a resource in guiding to write your letter. So there are methods like that. Building rapport is sometimes harder in really large classes. We've gotten a lot of that feedback, and the worry that having a very large class doesn't really allow you an opportunity to connect with your professors. And we understand that challenge. There's really no perfect way about going about it, but one is not relying on those large classes as the only space for you to build relationship. Taking higher level science classes, science and engineering classes, where your class sizes are hopefully a little bit smaller and you have an opportunity to engage with your professors, at least in a constructive way within the classroom. There's also the opportunity to work with that faculty. So let's say you took a Bio 101 class and then you became a TA for that professor, and then you have done some special projects or something. Find different contact points with faculty, because then not only do they know you from the classroom, but then they have worked with you outside of the classroom, which usually helps build that more well-rounded relationships that they can speak to. So definitely be creative about how you do that. Let me see if there's anything else. Toss some questions in the chat. What do you want to know about letters particularly? For those applying this cycle, I would highly encourage that you read through the Canvas site and the details around how to collect your letters and what system, the VE Collect system, in order to have your committee letter completed and submitted. So definitely look out for that information. Let's look at some other frequently asked questions. So deadlines. Okay, so what deadline should I give my recommenders for writing my letters? So typically when you are applying, like for instance, okay, I see your question. I'll definitely get to it for sure. So when there is, right now for those that are looking to apply this May in the EY 24, so that's entry year 24, meaning you would start med school in 2024 and you're starting your application now. You want to make sure that you have your letters in by mid-June. Yes, thank you. And so the whole point is that getting in touch with your faculty and your professors and your other recommenders, your coaches, your supervisors, and giving them time, professional space to be able to map out their time is important. So if you need it in June, don't ask June 1st for sure, right? You want to make sure that you are engaging with them and getting that soft yes. Maybe right about now is a nice month to get in contact. Say, are you able and willing? Touch back in April, make sure you have that contact. Get a sense of when they would like you to follow up with them. If there's anything, it leaves room. Maybe they want to have a conversation. Maybe they want an updated resume. Maybe it'd be helpful for them to get a personal statement or at least a drafted of some questions that help communicate your why medicine, that really helps them understand your overall goals in the context in which they're supporting you. So definitely leave room for your faculty to ask you about any other questions or additional information they would want from you to be able to write a strong letter of rec. So definitely want your letters in by mid-June to the VE Collect system in the application cycle you're applying. But right about now, you should be really thinking about who you want to ask, touching base, and getting in touch. So I saw a question up here that said, okay, what is considered, so when should you ask, and what is considered too early to ask? So maybe, for instance, let's say you are first year and you are getting ready and you're on it and you had a really great experience with a faculty, but you're not applying for at least another 2 years. It might be too early to ask for a letter. I think that would be the sense of early. Now, it's important to maintain relationship, especially if you know that 2 years down the line, you're probably going to want to ask for a letter. So find a way to continue that relationship. Check in at least, once or twice a year, once a semester. Maybe, like I said, see if there's an opportunity, if you did well in their class, if there's an opportunity to TA or be a tutor that's connected to the class. Or find a way to do research with that faculty. A lot of your faculty are also doing other research on campus or other projects. Find ways to stay connected to them. At the least, remind them who you are, let them know how you're doing, and that you will be looking to apply to medical school, and you're hoping that, in the next year or two, they would be willing to write you a recommendation, though you don't need it now. You wanted to stay, connected to them in a way that they still continue to understand who you are and, how you're moving forward. So it's a way to just continue building relationship throughout. But once you're within the year that you are applying, I think it's fair game to start thinking about, who you will want and reaching out to them for sure. So thank you for that question. We have about 5 more minutes. Let's see. What should I do if I'm having trouble getting one of my recommenders to submit their letter? So I think that one of the best ways you can do is some gentle reminders, following up using the email that they confirmed they would do this for you. Making sure you're emailing the email that they used as their best contact, because sometimes you're emailing maybe their Hopkins email, but on your syllabus they also had a Gmail or another point of contact. So make sure you utilize the information they've given you to contact them. And definitely remain polite and use language that is respectful, but also express urgency if now is, it's past the time that they said they would do it. Express empathy too, because professors, just like everyone else, sometimes go through hardships and they disconnect from some of their work because they have to take care of personal problems. So be sensitive. I also tell students it's good to always have some other solutions too. Like if you have at least 3 science professors in mind, that way if you run into any challenges, you can always reconnect with another one. So I know that's hard, but keep that in mind too. Sometimes traumatic things happen or really random life events happen, and students do have these challenges. The great thing about a committee letter and having multiple letters is that you don't have to lean on one letter to be your all in all. So I would definitely say getting strong recommendations, and also at least recommenders who can speak to exactly what is outlined in, not exactly what is connected to what the medical schools need to hear, which is usually around those competencies. Sometimes they don't need to know your birthday and, your favorite color, even though those are fun facts, but they need to have a good working relationship with you so they can talk about your work ethic. You can talk about your ability to critically think through quantitative biological concepts and topics, right? So especially when it comes to in the classroom. And then you can rely on some of those other letters, the additional letters from physicians you've shadowed, people you've worked with, supervisors and things who may know you a little bit more personally, to give some of that like nice added aspects to your profile. So definitely think about that. Let me see, did I see another question? Okay, I don't see another question. Is there any last thing you would like me to quickly touch on concerning letters? No. Okay, so at the end of the day, our biggest emphasis is that you want to think about building intentional relationships, because you're going to need them if you're applying to the health profession in some way. You don't want to wait until senior year or junior year when you're getting ready to apply to start thinking about how you can build relationships. Do it out the gate. And again, we're not talking about best friend relationships. We're talking about functional, cooperative relationships that you build where someone can speak positively on your behalf. So hopefully this was helpful. If you're confused, if you're worried, make an appointment. For those that are undergraduate and graduate students at Hopkins, definitely reach out to the Pre-Prof office. Follow us on our social media handles, TikTok, and here for other helpful tips and things about applying. And definitely look out for those applying this cycle. We're going to have a bunch of resources for you through February and March. So if you have not already, sign up to be added to Canvas if you're applying this cycle, so that you can get a handle on those resources. Our email is preprofessional@jhu.edu if you have questions and concerns for those Hopkins students. If the other people at other institutions who are just connecting with us, we love to have you. We hope this information helped you, and we definitely encourage you to connect with your pre-professional office and get specific information that's for their programs. So I'm out. You'll see me with another topic for the Hopkins Talk And so have a great night, everyone.